Welcome to the Generational Gamer, J Prime here, and today we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch and why it is the ideal console for a middle-aged gamer. Oh, by the way, I was at a Panera recently, and this pretty young lady said to me, "Wow, that is really big." And I turned to her and said, "You know what? I'd be more impressed if I wasn't holding the bottle." Then my wedding ring started tightening up, and I can't remember anything after that. So let's talk a little bit about what a middle-aged gamer is. Well, in my definition, although it is a subjective number, it's somebody who's in their 40s. I'm using that as an example just so I can set the baseline for what I'm talking about when I say that it is perfect for the middle-aged gamer. Now, putting age aside, it's also anybody who has a job, has a family, has kids, has other responsibilities that prevents them from being able to enjoy games on a regular basis.
Sure could use some air conditioning.
I missed out on the Odyssey games, the cool ones, you know, 1, 2, and that had to have a screen overlay in order to be able to fill in the graphics, making it essentially a televised board game. Nah, my family, we went straight to the Intellivision. As I've demonstrated on this channel, I still have it and it still works. Yeah, it needs a good cleaning, but yeah, what can you do? The thing did come out in 1980 to the public. It was test released in 1979, so it's old. But then I got my NES. This is where the video game world really opened up for me. And as I've pointed out before, this is still one of my all-time favorite consoles. But now, let me say, why is the Nintendo Switch ideal for the middle-aged or otherwise occupied gamer? Well, I love retro games. So let's start out with all the compilations of games that are currently available that you can play both portably and docked. Now, I have a retro USB AVS and Analogs Mega SG and Super NT. I am not buying a $500 Analog NT Mini. Too damn expensive. But where do I have to play it? Well, as long as I have a TV and an HDMI cable, I think I'm good to go. But what if I want to move to another room? Given that these things only have 2 wires and I can pretty much use any cell phone power adapter with these things, it's not too much of a heavy lift to move it, but what do I have to do? Unless I have the thing connected to a battery, I have to shut off my game, disconnect the system, move the system, plug it back in, reconnect, pick up where I left off, and hopefully the game had a save. See, these were the problems with the original portable consoles, such as the Turbo Express and the Sega Nomad. Now, I'm excluding the Game Boy, the Game Gear, because these were designated portable systems. The Turbo Express and the Nomad, they were designed to use regular home cartridges, or turbo cards, or Hue cards, whatever they happen to be calling them at that point, depending on who owned the console rights. No. These were only consoles that I can think of that went straight from cartridge in console to cartridge in portable. Oh yes, you could take your game with you, but it was not instantaneous. As I was saying a moment ago, the console had to be powered off. You had to pull the cartridge out. You had to put the cartridge in the portable system, power it back on. All your progress would be lost because virtually nothing had saves. Or some games that did have, but nothing like in comparison today. Take all that into consideration. The Switch, you literally just pick it up. It is the ideal game console for a grown person who has a full-time job, a family, and can play whenever he or she has a chance. Which describes my life. The off chance I get a free moment, I can put the console on the dock and play. I've played many consoles in my life. I can honestly say that I've always enjoyed the PS3 and PS4, but I'll be frank, the amount of time I actually get to sit and play this type of console is pretty limited these days. The games are very long, and although many of them are very good, the vast majority of them have very long, story-driven games. While this is all well and good if you have that kind of time, unfortunately I'm in a position where, in my life, I can't commit to an extensive amount of time to a given game, which is why the Switch is so ideal. let's just be honest, it's not made as well as the OG NES or SNES. The elements lacking from the other consoles is why the Switch is so perfect for my lifestyle. I have a Switch as well as my son, and I have a third dock. I can bring the Switch with me around the house and play it anywhere. As far as the docks go, I have one in my office where I do my live streams and record my Switch gameplay. I need to get back into doing some more live streams, particularly on the retro-inspired games and even the retro stuff that I only have on the Switch. I have one in my game area with all the modern consoles and the FPGA consoles. It also has the SNES, the Sega Genesis with 32X attached, GameCube, Wii U, PS3, and PS4. I did put my Dreamcast away. I think the Dreamcast is overrated. Change my mind. Now that's all fine, well, and good. I also have one in the kitchen, which is the one that came with my son's system. So I have 3 different locations in my house where I can play the Switch in docked mode. When I have to get up, move, or go somewhere, I can pause the game, move the console without losing any progress, and continue where I left off. I don't mean to be crass here, but this is the perfect system for toilet gaming. Now don't get the wrong idea, I know what you're thinking. My Switch may have some fecal follicles on it, but oh nay nay. I've had OCD for most of my life, believe me. My Switch is probably clean enough to eat off of. But the only problem I have with the Switch in handheld mode is the D-pad. There isn't one, and I don't have a Switch Lite. Yet. I may one day. But that's why I bought the Harrier adapter for it. It's perfect for retro gaming on the John. Although many times the D-pad is not needed when I'm there. The games designed today are designed with the analog stick in mind, even if they're Nindies or retro-inspired. Now, a Nindie is usually a Nintendo independently developed game. You can use the SNES Switch Online controller. Now, I don't know about you, but I find Cuphead far easier to play using the SNES Switch Online controller than I do with a Joy-Con or a Pro controller. And just using that D-pad and the 2 shoulder buttons works perfect for that style game. So you can use the SNES style Switch Online controller as long as it supports a D-pad. If it doesn't, it's absolutely useless. Then again, that is not coming into the bathroom with me. I have a rule. Maybe I'm sharing too much with you people. Now, if I have to travel, I will bring either the official Pro controller or the SN30 Pro Plus by 8-Bit Do, whatever. There are so many options for controllers on this thing, which is one of its other great features. I know a lot of people complain about it not being exactly the graphic prowess of the other consoles, but it's perfectly sufficient for me. They're pretty good. I mean, they're not bad. I'm perfectly fine with them. If I put my M Classic on, I can't tell a difference, but that's another thing entirely. My gaming heyday was during the years of the PS3. Now, why PS3 and not Xbox 360? I've said many times that I've never owned an Xbox, which is absolutely true, but very likely to change with the new one. The Xbox that I've used for my previous videos was borrowed. But why do I have a blackout on all Xbox consoles? Well, I don't know if I've ever regaled anybody with this story, but the reason I've always refused to own an Xbox was because back at the time of the OG's release, I was doing help desk and working on troubleshooting Microsoft problems and those random blue screen of death on Windows. I did not want to deal with that in my game time. This is no longer a factor because for these generations, the Xbox One and the PS4 are pretty damn similar. By the same token, the xCloud will likely be out soon, so that all may be moot. I firmly believe that xCloud will one day wipe away the purpose of all Xbox consoles. I really believe that Microsoft is just going to stop making it. Whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's my prediction. So let me ask you a question. Are you roughly my age? Were you born in the 70s, 80s? Are you now grown and have a family? Tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. Is a dockable system the most ideal for you as a gamer with a finite amount of time today? Is a dockable system what you find most appealing in your current lifestyle? Now, I just want to take a quick moment to note something about the PS3. I was an early adopter. Yes, I did spend $600 on a console and a $70 game, Resistance, if anybody's curious, and an extra controller because I'm a huge dumbass. I believe then that Rumble was old school and we didn't care about it anymore because we had the 6-axis. I'm a lot less trusting now. But at the same time, I played it almost exclusively, but I did include PS2 games. I did buy the PS2 on day one as well. I was a bit of a Sony fanboy when I left Nintendo for a while, but, you know, just like any kid who goes away to college, they have to escape, they have to leave the nest, and then they come back. Now, there's entirely a possibility that Nintendo will do something stupid and I never want to deal with them again, but at the same token, they might continue to be my favorite company. If you have a family and your video game time is limited, is a home console really what you'd want? Whether or not I buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, seriously, come up with a better name, folks. I probably will. I will almost certainly buy the Intellivision. I am certainly a fan of the original Intellivision and our Model 2. So, looking at the Switches, if there was a new Switch release, and does something different than mine, then oh hell yeah, I would buy it. I'll probably give mine to my daughter so she can play her Paw Patrol. I mean, they have to be there on the double, and it's a little hard to say, Daddy, can I borrow your Switch? And I go, yes, Pumpkin, but you gotta let me finish capturing this ghost. So, I've droned on for a long time. Let me do the obligatory send-off. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And even if you don't like it, dislike it, comment, and subscribe. We might agree on something down the line. Anyway, peace out, let me know what you think, and have a good one. If you got this far, you probably liked the video. Well, how about checking out some of these other ones? And if you like them too, please subscribe. Have a good one. Bye.